So what is test planning? When we talk about test planning, we think A to Z activities we do during our testing phase. How many levels of testing would be there? How many people would be there? The resources, what tool we are going to use, who will do what time we will start and what time we will finish, who will design the test cases, who will execute the test cases, yes, who will prepare the database. If we need to acquire the database from someone, how we will approach and access the databases. Yes, this everything covers in test planning. Next one is monitoring and control. So now you have a plan, and as per the plan, as for example, you are going on holiday somewhere for 5 days. So you have a plan what time you will start, what taxi you will call, what time you will reach to the airport, what time you will reach to the place, what time you will check in. Yes, what places you are going to visit and when. This is the plan. What if you call a taxi and the taxi is late? Then you have to have the plan B. Yes. So how you can say you are achieving this? So you are monitoring in the same manner in testing activities. We have the plan. Based on the plan, all activities are done. We need to monitor. If anything goes wrong, we need to have plan B, and that is control. So as for example, you are given test cases to be executed. All of a sudden you say that you ring in sick. Yeah. So we will be sort of, the manager will be sort of the person. So the person has to have the plan B. Someone else should be executing the test cases. That is control. There are 20 team members in your team. 5 people are hitting the target and they are going further than the targets. Yes. Other 5 people, they are lacking behind and they are not they are not achieving the expected result. Then what you are going to do? In this case, the manager has monitored is okay, these 5 people are achieving the targets and this 5. So what you have to do? This manager has to have the plan B and reassign the resources. Reassign the resources means they can share the workload, or the team task means responsibility should be reassigned. So those people, we have the target. Those who are underachieving, the manager can give an extra person so the task can be achieved. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is called monitoring and control. Test analysis and design. Next one is test analysis and design. What is test analysis and design? You have the draft document available. Requirement document means, yes. So need to analyze the requirements. When you analyze the requirements, what you will do? You will verify that these requirements are correct. Yes. And you also need to do, you prepare the requirements matrix. Yes. How many requirements are there? In Agile, you will not have this kind of things. In Agile, what happens? You will have limited requirements and they are already broken down. But you still need to analyze the requirements in Agile methodology and say how many conditions or how many scenarios are there to be tested. Yes. How many scenarios? As for example, I explain you about login into the system, but say that deposit money. Yes. So what are the ways you can deposit money into your account? Yes. Withdrawing money. What are the ways of withdrawing money? if you transfer someone money, we use the transfer, but that is part of withdrawing money, we can consider. Yes, because the money goes and money, like one way is money coming in and money going out. What are the ways of money coming in and what are the ways of money going out? So all the scenarios are there. So we will do during this test analysis. From those we will design the test cases. Yes, this is the condition we are going to test, and we prepare the test cases or we design the test cases during test analysis and design. It is not we are analyzing the test, we are analyzing the requirements. Go on.
Mrs. Bhai?
Yes.
This session is not recorded?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, then I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So the next one is test implementation. Are you recording in Skype?
I'm just start, but now it's stop. I thinking you are not recorded, so I started. But now it's stop.
No, but you are doing in Skype, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is test implementation. So in testing, as for example, you have 20,000 requirements. Okay, speak them. 100 requirements there, yes? From these 100 requirements, you have designed 1,500 test cases. Are you going to execute these all test cases together? No. You can't do this, and that's why we have how you have to have a plan for the implementation, how you are going to implement the test cases. In this, you will prepare the test sets, test procedure. Yes, this is known as test procedure, and this is part of test implementation. In this procedure, we will prepare the sets and we will say in what sequence these test cases can be executed. As for example, you are testing one scenario, money coming in, or say money going out. Then what is the sequence? Without login, can you execute it? No. So you will say login into your account with a valid username and password. And as a part of this, we will test the preconditions as well. Yes. So for any scenario, what are the preconditions, and we need to base how we can prepare this test procedure. Based on the test case, we have the preconditions for any test case. Based on these preconditions, we can decide execution order of test cases. That is test implementation. Now we have this, we have decided in what order we are going to execute the test cases. Yes. Then in the end, what we are going to do? We are going to execute the test cases. Yes. We have the test lab. In the test lab, we have the test cases, and these test cases are executed by testers. What happens in test execution? It is not just executing the test cases. In this phase, what we will do? We execute the test cases, generate results. You will have the results, yes? So you can say check result. Yes, check test result, you say, and say verify test pass or fail. Yes, you need to verify whether the test case pass or fail. Generate reports. Yes, generate reports. You need to generate the report. How many test cases pass? How many test cases pass? And how many test cases fail. In this phase, you will compare expected result with actual result. Compare. Otherwise, you won't be able to decide whether the test case pass or fail. Yes. Compare the actual result with expected result and decide whether the test case pass or fail. If you find any discrepancy, what? If you find any discrepancy, then you raise defects or bug box. Yes. Here you can say an extra thing, isolated defect. So you can investigate it and isolate it. What is exactly causing this issue? Means a bug. So isolate and raise it. Yes. When these bugs are raised, the developers will fix them. Yes. Then you do retesting if required. Now in here, if you find out, see in here at this phase, if you find out, you raise a bug. Yes. And you find out this developer sends back as incorrect. Then what happens? You can come to any phase in here. You will come test analysis and design if your test case is incorrect. If your test data is incorrect, then you will come to this phase and you will redo that work. And the last one is test completion. You have executed the test cases. Yes. And what happens? You have generated the reports and you pass this information to the stakeholders. Based on the information you passed or based on the reports you have sent to the stakeholders will decide to stop testing. Yes, to stop testing. In this case, when they tell you to stop testing, what you are going to do? You stop testing and hand over the deliverables to the maintenance team. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay,
Is
let's.
it all activity running by step to step?
No, they are overlapping. You can't separate these activities. It's you if you want.
It's depend on to each other.
Yeah, they are overlapping. So it is not that in my first 1 hour I'm going to do this. This is that it will be done. No. As for example, you are executing test cases. Okay, if you are given this task, but during this you will go through the test case. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you find your test case is incorrect, the same time you will try to understand the requirement, you analyze it. Yes. But this you can separate most of the time when you are working in waterfall model. So you will have a phase where you will analyze the requirements, you prepare requirements matrix, and you have execution. But during execution, that's why execution, when you raise a bug, if developer rejects it, then you need to go back to any of the phase in here and restart. Just for example, you raise a bug and the developer says this is incorrect, your test case is incorrect. Then what you will do? Why this test case is incorrect? Then you will need to go to this test analysis, understand the requirement and redesign the test case. Yes?
Yeah.
So let's discuss in detail test planning, monitoring and control. So what is test planning? The activity of defining the objectives of testing and the testing activities necessary to achieve them. Yes. So test planning, what you will do? Set objectives and decide activities. Yes, so let me put activities to achieve the objectives. Yes. What is test planning and control? The ongoing activity, monitoring and control. The ongoing activity of comparing progress against the plan and reporting status. Yes. What is this called? The activity of comparing progress against plan and reporting status. Yes. So you had a plan, you will do what, when. So you need to compare it and report it. This is called test monitoring and control. So what are the activities we have in test planning? Yes. So let's discuss it in detail. What activities you are going to do, how. So as for example, how many people are there in your team? Yes.
Yeah.
You also need to plan who will do what, as I said, but you also need to plan if anything happens. That is, I will say, you need to plan for any unplanned stuff happens. Yes, probability of an adverse event occurring, and so that kind of risk kind of thing. Yes, what if somebody leaves the job? This everything will be decided in test management. In test management, we will decide everything, A to Z. Everything should be in black and white. In black and white, you need to write. That's why you have a calendar. In that calendar, the task will be given, and the manager will say, okay, this person will execute the test cases, this person is reviewing the test cases, this person is executing the test cases. You need to analyze the result as well. So if somebody is raising a bug or a defect, then somebody would be there to review it as well. Okay, this is correct. We need to review the data. Who will acquire the data from the business if we require? Who will review them? Yes. Next one is test analysis and design. So what is test analysis and design? The activity during which we have these objectives, and these objectives we will transfer into testable conditions and test cases. Yes. So we have the test objectives transformed into testable test conditions and test cases. So if you want to understand, as I say, you have the requirements. Yes, these requirements you will review them, and then simple way and review them and design the test cases. Simple, in one sentence you can say. But if you want to have what are the tasks, separate them, then we will say reviewing the requirements. Yes, there are some synonyms for that. That is also known as test basis. And what could be test basis? The document from which you derive your test cases. Yes, anything. You can have the user stories, anything, any document. Legacy system means the system you have retired. Any document you are using, test plan document, requirement specification, business specification, any document you have, from there you are going to derive test cases. They are known as requirements or test basis. Yeah, test basis. Evaluating the testability of the test basis. Now what you will do? You will evaluate whether the requirements are testable or not. Yes, you will as a tester decide, you will evaluate it. These requirements are testable or not. How will you decide it? If I say in requirement, you need to have specific requirement. Okay, specific requirements. You need to have specific requirements. In what sense specific requirement? If I say go to London ASAP, is this specific requirement? No. What does ASAP mean? Yes. Somewhere some statement will be there. These statements will have dual meanings called ambiguity. Yes. Ambiguous meaning that you are going to check. Is it specific exactly? If you say it should respond in 5 seconds, yes, this is like that exactly. Exact stuff should be specified in any requirement document. Next one is defining and prioritizing test conditions. Identifying and prioritizing test conditions. So you have requirements, yes, high level requirements. These requirements are high level. Based on high level, what are the conditions you have? You need to identify them. As for example, login into the system. Verifying, just login functionality. Yes, I will put that. Another is a verifying, just example I'm giving, money going out. Yes, so these are the high level conditions or high level requirements, you can say. So in login you need to break down. Yes, these are the high level, and then you can go to the low level as well. Yes, based on that you decide the priority. What is the priority of the business? What you want to do first? Yes, so when you are working on any business, you will have n number of requirements. Yes,
Yeah.
so based on the business, what they want first, we will set the priority. Agree?
Yes.
So that is identifying and prioritizing test condition. Now you have this high level conditions, I said. Yes, from high level conditions, what you are going to do, I explain you. Design test cases, yes, and prioritize test cases. Yes, how? So as for example, you have the high level conditions, verifying login or verify the login functionality. In login, successful login, yes, access denied and access permitted, and unsuccessful login. So in successful login, you have to have all the conditions, test cases for literally all the scenarios. Username criteria and password criteria we had. Yes, based on that we will design the test cases. And in what order we are going to execute these test cases, that is known as priority. Now we have designed the test cases, so we have the high level conditions. Yes, from high level conditions we have designed the test cases and we prioritize those test cases as well. Yes, do we need to execute these test cases as a tester? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can we execute these test cases in the same form we have, or exactly whatever we have done? Can we execute them?
No.
No. Why? We have the test cases. Now you are to decide whether we can execute these test cases, yes or no. So what will you keep this in mind to decide can we execute this test case or no?
No.
Yes, what do you need? What you will think then? I'm asking. You say what?
Based on test cases, all characters are different, so it's not possible to all cases are executed same way.
No, yes, but what? Yes, another we cannot execute the same way. Okay, that is approach. Test cases cannot be executed the same way. Correct. You will decide the approach. That is come in implementation. But now we have the test cases. What in order to execute those test cases, what you need?
Priorities.
We have set the priorities in here. We have the design. We design the test cases, and we have set the priorities. So that is order in which these test cases can be executed. Yes, this is the one. What else? So that we have done.
I don't have idea.
That is identifying necessary test data. So you have the test cases, but what data you need? As I say, invalid and valid credentials. Yes.
Yeah.
Based on the criteria you have, 6 to 13 disease username covers this and this. So this test data you need to prepare. Yes. So you need to identify test data. Yes.
Yeah.
If you are unable to prepare the data, okay, so it's a identify test data. This is the question I am putting in here. If you are unable to generate the test data, what you will do? To generate the test data, then what you will do? Without test data you cannot execute the test cases. Then what you will do?
Cannot achieve results.
No, you acquire the test data from the business, I say. Yes.
Yeah.
You go to the business and ask, provide them these conditions and say that give us this test data. Designing test environment setup. Yes.
Yeah.
Next is designing test env setup. So here we have decided in the planning what databases we will need. Yes, everything, and we have the structure. So in this phase we will design what environment setup would look like. Test environment only. Yes, there can be different environments. So we have to discuss about the test environment, what we will call, and how do we need to configure the UI stuff, and how we need to configure the databases. Yes.
Yeah.
Next, we will have to identify the tools we need. Identifying the infrastructure, the tools we need. Yes. How do we know? As for example, you are talking about we will do some database testing. As a part of database testing, you are using Oracle database or SQL database. Yes. Then what tool you are going to use? Are you going to use SQL Developer or any other tool for the database testing or database setup? Yes. Creating bi-directional traceability. Next one is creating bi-directional traceability. What is this traceability? You have the requirements, yes, and you have the test cases.
Which is how we have to identify tools
based on our project.
Based on project.
Yes, based on the project, what are the requirements we have for the high level? What are the databases? What are the tools the project is going to use? Based on that, we will select the tool for testing. As for example, the business have decided they will use Cassandra database. They have decided SQL database. They have decided Postgre database. Yes. So based on the yes, this is just a database example. We will say, okay, we use so and so tool to configure the database, to create the database, and to test it. Yes. Based on this, based on the project, is a high level document is there, structure. In the structure, they have decided everything, each and everything. It comes from the project management, and based on that we will decide. Here we are not talking about the automation. Yes. When any organization think of developing, any organization in the project management team is that thinks, okay, we need this project in this, what language they are going to use, what other tools they are going to use, there will be there a list from the project management as well, how they will do the structure. Based on that we will select what tool we can use for our testing. Yes. Any other question?
No, thank you.
So we have the test cases and we have the requirements, I said. Yes.
Yeah.
So as I said earlier, explained earlier, that we have to verify that all the requirements are covered when we design the test cases. Yes.
Yes.
So we need to map. Okay. We need to map the requirement with test cases and map test cases with requirements. This activity is known as traceability. So if you have 100 requirements, you can't say I have covered 99 requirements and one requirements I will not cover it.
Yeah.
We have to have not all the percent, but we will have most of the time 100% requirement coverage. In the 100% requirement coverage, we can't skip one single requirement. What if that requirement is high priority and we miss it? So we need to say map. We might have 100 requirements. When we for 100 requirements we might have designed 5,000 test cases, but what if one requirement is missing, and that one missing requirement is a critical requirement? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to do traceability, which maps requirements with the test cases with the requirements, and this activity is helpful to decide the coverage, requirement coverage. So when we generate the report, yes, and we can check the progress of our testing activity by this traceability, and we can also find out what requirement is missing and what test case does not have any requirement link. Any question with this so far?
No.
You need to understand this fully. If you understand, then you will be able to explain in the interview.
Okay.
Yes, what are these activities and how and what you do it. Next is test implementation. So what is test implementation? The activity where test procedures or test scripts are specified by combining test cases in a particular order and including any other information needed for test execution. That is the test environment setup. Yes. So you can say test procedures, test scripts are specified. Yes. How you can do? By combining test cases. Test cases in a particular order. Why we call it test script in here and not test cases? That's why we are combining test cases. So the test case is a separate entity, yes, separate thing you can say in order to understand. But the script, you can bunch these multiple test cases together to prepare a script. And most of the time the test steps are the scripts, you can say. That's why for a drama, for a movie, whatever it is, we use the word script. Yes?
Yeah.
Why we call it script? Have you ever taken part in any play or drama? In a script, it is clearly explained who will speak what. Yes? Where the person is standing. Is there any observation is there? Everything is there. Yes? So in the same manner, when we prepare the test cases, we can bunch them together. The steps in sequence, it should be there. As for example, I need to say 10 dialogues. Can I speak all the 10 dialogues together at the same time? No. I have to speak as per my order, as per my turn. Yes? As per the script. When my turn comes, I need to speak. In the same manner, when the particular action we have to do, we need to execute this, and that is part of test script. If we have to provide any other information like what way we are going to execute the test cases and what test environment we need. What are the tasks we do in this phase? Finalizing and prioritizing test cases. First thing, finalizing and prioritizing test cases. So you have 500 or 5000 test cases, n number of test cases. So you will not execute these all test cases together, and you can't execute these all test cases together, and that's why you finalize them. Yes, what test cases you are going to execute. So out of 5000 test cases, you have selected 4000 test cases. Can you execute all these 4000 test cases together? No is the answer, yes? No. And that's why you prioritize them. This test case should be executed first, this should be second, this should be third, this should be fourth, this should be 5, and this should be in the sequence or in order. Here in this next activity you do is to build the test data. Yes, and test environment. Okay. So how you have the test cases, you prioritize them, means you finalize them and you prioritize them. Then you are ready. But without test data, you cannot execute. So here you will build your test data, generate test data. Yes. If you can't generate, then what you do? You go to the business and acquire. And you can set up the environment, test environment as well. If you need to install any tool, if you need to set up any database, you will do at this phase. Yes?
Yes.
Developing and prioritizing test procedures. And prioritizing test procedure. You are here to decide execution pre-order, yes? Execution order, and prioritize this in what order you are going to execute. You will not have one procedure, you will have n number of procedures. So you will test sets 1, test sets 2. Yes, in this you will prepare the test sets of your test cases. So you say test sets 1, test sets 2, test sets 3, and accordingly based on this priority, here you are going to prepare these priorities only, but based on this priority in this execution phase you will execute them. Yes, creating, this is part of that, creating test suites from the test procedures. Okay, so here I explain you the same thing together. So you have developed the test procedures. This will be your execution order. Based on this execution order, you are going to prepare the test suites. Means, what is test suites? You bunch some simple way to bunch the test cases together. This is a simple way to understand. You are bunching these test cases together, which you can execute the same time. Yes, bunch the test cases together, which you can execute the same time. Yes, so as for example, what test cases you can bunch together? You can say log out, then you can log in and log out bunch together. Yes, all the test cases for login and all the test cases for log out, it will be one, but bunch them together. You are testing bank balance, and you are testing the bank balance going down. Yes, going down. I was then going. Yes, so you can put the conditions or scenarios or situations. I put, yes, scenarios affect the bank balance. Yes, which makes bank balance going down. You list it: transferring money, etc. Yes, withdrawing money from ATM, etc. Yes, so how you can do it? You can deposit, withdraw, like that. You can bunch these test cases together, and this is called creating test suites from the test procedures. So based on your test procedures, you can decide what test case you can execute together at the same time. Based on this, you can prepare the test suites. Yes, next one is creating test execution schedule. So now you have the test procedures, now you have the test suites. But can you execute all the test suites together? No. So you have to have the time schedule. Yes, that's why. Who will do what and when? So based on the people, the work will be allocated to you, and based on the preconditions. Preparing test harness. What is test harness? So the tool you need to execute your test cases. So you prepare your test environment, you can understand in a simple way. Yes, the tools or anything you are using for your test execution, they are known as test harness. And then this is whatever you have done is all for manual testing. Yes, now if you are happy and everything is done, then you can automate the script. Yes, if you are a manual tester, then you will execute this everything manually. But if you are working in an automation, then you will automate the test cases. That is the activities or tasks you do in test implementation. Any question?
No.
What is next now? So if you go from the top, you can say you have the requirements, you have analyzed the requirements, you have the requirements matrix. From the requirements, you have prepared the test cases. Yes, based on the condition, you prepare the test procedures. Based on the procedures, you bunch together the test cases and prepare test suites, and then you are ready for the test execution. Yes, so the next phase would be test execution. So in phase, you can understand simply straight away that what you are going to do. You are going to execute the test cases, yes? But can you execute the test cases directly? No. First, you need to verify the test environment set up correctly. Test environment set up correctly. What if the test environment, what if the database has not been installed, downloaded and set up correctly? What if you are testing for some UI stuff and the tools you are going to have, it's all not set up correctly? When you execute these test cases, they might fail or they might not give you the correct result. So you need to verify this test environment has been set up correctly. And how you will do? In order to verify, you will execute some simple test cases. Yes? Execute some simple or easy, you can understand, test cases. And if these test cases pass, then you can say this test environment has been set up correctly. As for example, you are automating it. This is an example. You are using Java. Then you need to install Java. Yes, and you need to set up the environment variable. If you are using C#, then you exactly do with the C#. If you are using .NET, then you do exactly with the .NET. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you run simple hello world. This is the simple, yes, print statement, simple test case on Java or simple test case using C#. And if it passes, you can say this Java and the environment variable set up correctly. Yes. Just for example, you are doing some database testing. Then you download the database and the tools you are going to use. And do proper connection. If you have not done proper connection, your test case will fail. And if your test case will fail, then what happens? You will not be able to identify correctly. You will say, okay. You will raise this as a box and the developers will reject it. You need to verify this test environment has been set up correctly. You need to verify the traceability. Yes?
Yes.
How do you verify? As I say, you have mapped the requirements with the test cases and this test cases with the requirements. So you need to verify you have done it correctly. So in the tools wise, you can just generate the reports and you can say, okay, this traceability has been done correctly. But if you are doing manually, it won't be possible when there are hundreds and thousands of test cases are there. You can so simply generate reports using the tool you have. As for example, ALM. Then you say, this will give you, is there any missing requirement? Means the requirement does not have test cases linked. Or any test case is there, it is not linked with the requirement. If any requirement is there and it does not have test cases, then what you do? You need to investigate. If it requires, you write new test cases. Design the new test cases. If any test case is there and if it's not linked with any requirement, then you link it or it is an extra, then you can store somewhere else. Yes. Now what you will do, you execute the test cases. Yes, executing test procedures in planned order. Yes. If you do not follow this order, then you might not be able to find defect or defects, and that will also cause you some issues. So you have to follow exact sequence. Now when you execute the test cases, you will find the expected result or actual result is not matching. So what you do when you execute, you do is compare actual results with expected result. Yes. If they do not match, you can call it this discrepancy. This you log the outcome. Yes, whatever result you have, the result means whatever result you have, you log it. Log the outcome or log the result of the test execution. Whether the test case pass or fail, you need to log it. It is not that whether if the test case pass, you will not log it. You just log it, only fail. No. You will log the result, test result, whether the test case pass or fail. Based on this, you can generate reports and you say how many test cases executed, how many test cases pass, and how many test cases failed. Yes?
Yeah.
Now, as I said, you compare the actual results with expected results and found discrepancies. Yes? So whenever you find these discrepancies, you report it. Yes? So report these defects based on the failures. Yes? Based on the discrepancy, you have the discrepancy. Yes? And you report it. So you raise it to the developers. Now what happens when you report it? That it is the developer's responsibility to fix it. When they fix it, you need to do and regression testing. Yes, on the system. And this is called repeating test activities. What is called repeating test activity? Yes. What do you call? You raise a bug. Now let's discuss again here. You executed a test case, yes? And you find this is a defect. So you raise it to the developer. The developer will fix it. When the developer will fix it, you retest it. Now you raise a bug or a defect and the developer has rejected it. If the developer rejects a bug, what will you do in this case? I have explained you.
Okay.
If the developer, you raise a bug or a defect and the developer has rejected it, what you will do it? The developer has rejected your defect, so you need to investigate it. What is wrong? That is test data incorrect. If the test data incorrect, then what you need to do? Generate the test data again. Yes?
Yeah.
What if the developer has rejected and you identify that the test case is incorrect? Then what you do?
Investigate.
Yes, design the test case again. But you won't be able to design the test case again, so you take one step backward. Yes, back and analyze the requirements. Is your understanding of the requirement correct? Yes. So this is what repeating the test cases. So you repeat until you complete the testing and say,
so
go on.
Repeating test activity means if his developer rejects, so we have to repeating from start one, from planning to every.
Yes, even if the developer doesn't reject it, if you identify it,
Okay.
this is wrong, then you start from beginning again.
Okay.
So that's why I say we prioritize the conditions. Yes, identify the conditions. What if the condition, the understanding is incorrect? You start from again beginning wherever you stop there. If your test case is incorrect, okay, and you raise it as a defect, the developer say, oh, this is not the correct condition, your test case is incorrect.
Okay.
Then you need to correct the test case. And how can you correct the test case without understanding the requirement? Can you do it? No. So you need to go and analyze the requirements. And when you analyze the requirement, you can identify that, oh, my understanding of the requirement was incorrect. This is not the condition I need to test. This is the condition I am going to test. Yes, any question?
No, thank you.
Okay, let's stop it here today. Yes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we will have class the